And I'm Jeff Douglas.
Listen to the As It Happens podcast for stories from the political to the personal with detours into the peculiar.
And on Fridays, our producers put a little something extra in your feed. The Podcast Extra pulls back the curtain on how we make the show for you. Subscribe at cbc.ca/podcasts.
Talk of a recent UFO sighting near Clarenville has stirred up memories of a similar encounter from way back when. A Clarenville man recently came forward to the media with pictures of an unidentified flying object. He says he can't explain what was hovering over the waters near Random Island, and neither could now retired RCMP Constable Jim Blackwood when he and many others saw what looked like a flying saucer back in 1978. And that sighting was all over the news. It's still clear on his mind to this day. So we reached the former RCMP officer, Mr. Blackwood, in Nova Scotia. Good morning, Mr. Blackwood.
Good morning.
So let's go back to that night in 1978. What happened?
I was just getting off work. I had dropped my partner off in Shoal Harbour, and I was taking the police car back to the detachment, and just as I was putting things away, the phone rang, and there was a chap from down Marine Drive calling. Said there was something up in the sky that I had to take a look at, so I took a drive down and met him down there by his residence, and he was there with some family members, and sure enough, there was something in the sky. It was odd because first I didn't know what it was, but it was a UFO. It would be definitely classed as that. And me being an airline buff, and I was quite familiar with just about every aircraft that we had on the planet, and this wasn't one of them.
What did you think it looked like?
Well, it was like an oval shape. It was metallic looking. It was lit up quite bright in the bottom. And it just came down very slow and easy, and it hovered over out in the, what I guess they call the random sound there, we looked the harbor. And it stayed there for almost 2 hours.
Just hovering there?
Well, it moved back and forth, and I went and put the lights on the police car, and the roof lights, and anyway, this thing started activating flashing lights as well. And the guy that was with me, he said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I thought I might make contact and just, to see what would happen." He said, "Well, you contact you, I'm getting out of here." So anyway, they stuck around. He loaned me his binoculars, and but I had a thing at the detachment. I drove back and got it, and it was called a ball scope, and it had 60 times the magnification, so you could see it quite plain.
What did it look like close up?
Well, the metal was, it wasn't something like aircraft metal. It was very dull luster to it. It wasn't shiny at all, and the lights there was a light in each side flash and one on the top, and it never made any sound. That's what got me. I mean, if it was some kind of a helicopter, I mean, you would hear it, because it was dead quiet.
So what was going through your mind while you were checking this out?
Well, like I said to Mr. Lethbridge, I said, this is really weird. And anyway, then it started to leave, and it just started off slowly, and then all of a sudden, poof, gone like a shooting star, only going the opposite way. I went back to the detachment, and I woke up my staff sergeant, and got him to come down, and I said, "Well, what do I do?" And so he helped me do up the report and everything. So
you made an official report and everything?
Oh, yeah, and it was locked in this safe, and then he had it transported had it sent to Ottawa. And then the National Research Council got involved, and of course they didn't believe it.
Did you have any pictures or anything?
No, that was the funny part. Like, never even thought of that. And we had cameras in the cars, but there were black and white film at the time. We never had color.
So have you heard about the recent sighting in the Clarenville area?
Yes, I did. A friend of mine from Newfoundland, from Shoal Harbour there, let me know about it, and then so I looked online at the packet and I read the story.
What did you think?
Well, it was a long time past before he reported it. I mean, I was newsworthy the next day. You know, even in Clarenville, like I played for the old-timer team, and we got new sweaters made with Clarenville UFOs on it, and the Hall of the Inn had a weekend for two with a special UFO kit, and of course I got interviewed by hundreds of newspapers from all over the world, and I was on TV, well, CBC, and Jeff Sterling did an interview with me.
So the sighting now that just happened, is that similar to what you saw, do you think?
It wasn't the same shape as what I saw.
Do you think people don't report these things because they think that people won't believe them?
Well, probably. I took quite a bit of ribbing through the RCMP. I mean, the ident guys made up a little photograph of a flying saucer and a guy hanging out the window hollering my name. And they put it up on the bulletin board, and they called me Mark for Mark and a few other things. But
what do you think now, though, when you look back? Do you think that what you saw really was a UFO and possibly alien life?
Well, most definitely. I mean, it wasn't something that we had here, especially back then. It was, almost 40 years ago since it happened. And there was no way we had anything, even now, remotely could travel the way that thing did. It's kind of be naive to think that we're alone here. I mean, with all the galaxies and everything that we have, and I mean, they're finding planets now that they didn't know there existed in other galaxies. You know, it's possible that there's a galaxy out there with the same situation we have here.
Well, it's definitely an interesting story that you have to tell, so thank you so much for being here with us.
Oh, no problem.
And that is retired RCMP Constable Jim Blacko. We'd love to know what you think about this. Have you seen anything in the skies over the Random Island, Clarenville area? We'd love to know. You can get in touch by calling 1-800-997-7211, or you can email us at centralmorning@cbc.ca.
For more CBC podcasts, go to cbc.ca/podcasts.